In 1994, a woman sat on her porch, watched her husband drive away for the last time, and felt her entire reality dissolve into a million pieces. And that was the moment she realized that falling apart is actually the only way to truly wake up. Look, we've all been there. Maybe you haven't had a spouse leave you on a random Tuesday, but you know that feeling when the floor just vanishes. Your boss calls you into a private room. You get a text that changes your relationship status in 3 seconds. Or maybe it's just that slow, heavy realization that your life doesn't look anything like you thought it would. We're going to break down the counterintuitive physics of a crisis today. Specifically, why fighting the chaos is exactly what makes it hurt so much more. And I'm going to show you a specific pause technique that can stop a spiral before it turns into a full-blown meltdown. By the time we're done, you're going to have a 3-step mental emergency kit for when the unthinkable happens. If you skip this, you're probably going to keep using those same old coping mechanisms, the scrolling, the snacking, the hiding, that actually keep you stressed out. You'll miss the one perspective shift that turns raw fear into actual power. Here's the thing about our world right now. Everything feels like it's shaking. This isn't just some positive vibes only self-help fluff. This is a survival manual for the human heart. It's about how to handle raw, unfiltered pain without losing your mind. We have this massive myth in our culture. We call it getting back to normal. When something goes wrong, we say, I just want things to go back to the way they were. But that's a lie we tell ourselves. Stability is actually an illusion. Change is the only thing that's actually happening, 24/7. Think about it like a weather pattern. We spend our entire lives trying to keep the sun out, trying to pretend the clouds don't exist. But the storm is just as much a part of the sky as the blue. Trying to stop life from changing is like trying to hold back the ocean with a tiny plastic beach bucket. You're going to get wet, and you're going to get tired. Once you stop expecting things to be steady, the surprises don't hurt as much. It's the expectation of smooth sailing that kills us. When the waves hit, we're shocked. But if you're a surfer, you expect the waves. You actually need them. If the ocean was a flat lake, you couldn't do your thing. Life is the ocean. Now, the natural reaction to pain is to run. We want to get away from the sharp points of life. But most of our suffering actually comes from avoiding it, not the pain itself. There's this concept called Shenpa. It's about finding the place that scares you and staying there for just one extra breath. Think about a cold shower. When you first hop in, you tense up. You scream. You fight it. And because you're tense, the cold feels like it's attacking you. But if you just relax your shoulders, if you breathe into the cold, your body adapts. The water hasn't changed temperature, but your relationship to it has. This is how we handle discomfort. Instead of masking it with another hour of YouTube or a bag of chips, we sit with it. We stay for one breath, then another. If you're feeling like your brain is just on a loop of bad thoughts right now, hit that like button. It helps me know we're on the right track and that you're vibing with this idea of facing the music. But the weirdest thing is, the part of this wisdom that sounds the most spiritual is actually the most scientific. Wait until you hear how fear actually works in the brain when we stop fighting it. There's this gap technique that changes everything. Between something bad happening and you reacting to it, there is a tiny, microscopic space. The author calls this natural rest. Think of a movie screen. The movie playing could be a total horror film. People are screaming, things are exploding, it's a mess. Or it could be a beautiful romance. But the screen itself? The screen stays cool. It stays untouched. It doesn't get burned by the fire in the movie. It doesn't get wet from the rain on screen. You are the screen. Your thoughts and the disasters of your life are just the movie. This gives you a practical tool to use during a heated argument or when you get a nasty email. You find the gap. You realize you are the space where the thoughts happen, not the thoughts themselves. Now, here is the plot twist that usually trips people up. You have to abandon hope. I know, that sounds depressing. We're taught that hope is the only thing that keeps us going. But in this context, hope is a trap. Why? Because hope implies that the present moment isn't good enough. Hope is always about the future. I hope I get that job. I hope they come back. I hope I feel better later. When you're constantly hoping for something else, you're rejecting your actual life. It's like a person treading water frantically to stay alive, terrified of sinking. They're exhausted. But the person who finally gives up and realizes they can just float, they're the ones who survive. Floating takes way less energy than treading. Giving up on a specific outcome is the only way to find actual peace. It releases you from that "I'll be happy when" cycle that keeps us all miserable. You might think giving up hope sounds like a nightmare, but it's actually the most freeing thing you'll ever do. It means you're finally allowed to be where you are, even if where you are sucks. And look, if this is starting to click for you, if you can feel that weight lifting a little bit, hit subscribe. We're building a community of people here who actually want to grow through the hard stuff, not just pretend it isn't happening. The coolest part of this whole philosophy is using chaos as fuel. We usually think of our worst moments as wasted time. We think we're broken. But a broken heart is actually an open heart. Think about a forest fire. It looks like a total disaster. Everything is black and charred. But there are certain seeds that can only sprout after they've been cracked open by intense heat. Without the fire, those trees would never exist. Your current struggle is a necessary pruning phase. It's clearing out the stuff that wasn't working so something new can actually get some sunlight. When you feel lonely in your suffering, when you think, "Why is this happening to me?" there's a practice called "just like me." You realize your pain isn't unique. It's actually your connection to every other human being on the planet. Imagine a global web where every knot is someone feeling exactly what you feel right now. Someone else is mourning a loss. Someone else is terrified about their bank account. Someone else is feeling rejected. When you realize thousands of people are feeling that exact same tightness in their chest at the same moment, you aren't alone anymore. This kills the "why me" story that leads straight into depression. The biggest mistake we make is trying to beat ourselves into being calm. You cannot bully yourself into peace. You can't scream at yourself to settle down and expect it to work. It's like training a puppy. If the puppy messes up on the carpet, you don't beat it. You just gently pick it up and show it the right way again. And you do it 1,000 times if you have to. This is the discipline of gentleness. The reason this works better than any of that hustle culture advice is simple. You save an incredible amount of energy by just being kind to yourself. Most of our fatigue doesn't come from the work we do. It comes from the internal critic that's constantly yelling at us for not doing it better. I've read a lot of books on mindfulness, but this one hits differently. It doesn't feel preachy. It feels like a friend who has been through absolute hell, reaching back and giving you a hand up. The only downside is that some people might find the "abandon hope" part really hard to swallow. If you're looking for a quick 5-step fix to double your productivity, this isn't it. This is for the person in the middle of the storm. The person dealing with divorce, grief, or a career that just went up in flames. If I had to give you one big takeaway, it's this. Fear is a natural reaction to moving closer to the truth. When you feel like things are falling apart, you aren't failing. You are finally seeing life for what it actually is: fluid, unpredictable, and incredibly alive. Next time you feel that tightness in your chest, don't run. Don't grab your phone. Don't look for a distraction. Just stay. Stay for 3 breaths. Just 3. See what happens when you don't try to fix it. Remember that woman on the porch? Her husband left, her world ended, and she became Pema Chodron, one of the most influential teachers in the world. She didn't just survive, she became a light for millions of people. Your falling apart might just be your becoming. Think about the one disaster in your life that actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise. We all have one. That breakup that led to your real partner. That job loss that forced you to start your own thing. The chaos is where the magic is. We've covered a lot today. We talked about how stability is a myth and why leaning into the pain is actually the fastest way through it. We looked at the gap technique and why hope can sometimes be a prison. We talked about using chaos as fuel and why being gentle with yourself is a superpower. This isn't just theory. This is how you live when the world gets loud. It's about being the screen, not the movie. It's about realizing that even when the movie is a tragedy, the screen is still whole. I want to dive deeper into how we actually apply this when life feels like it's moving too fast. Because it's one thing to hear this while you're watching a video, and it's another thing to remember it when your car breaks down or your kid is screaming. The key is the micro practice. You don't need to go to a cave for 10 years. You just need to notice the tightness when it happens. That's the signal. The moment your chest gets tight, or your throat closes up, or your stomach knots, that is your alarm clock. It's telling you, hey, you're at a sharp point. Stay for 1 breath. If you do that, you're already ahead of 99% of the population who spends their whole lives running from themselves. You're becoming brave. And relaxation? Relaxation is the ultimate act of bravery. It takes 0 courage to be tense. It takes 0 courage to lash out or hide. But to stay open when everything in you wants to shut down? That's what a warrior looks like. So here's my challenge to you. Sometime in the next 24 hours, something is going to annoy you. It might be a slow driver, a cold cup of coffee, or a snarky comment from a coworker. When that happens, don't react. Just find the gap. Stay for 3 breaths. See if the screen can just watch the movie without getting swept away. You aren't broken. You're just shaking off the stuff that isn't you. And honestly, that's exactly where the growth happens. Let's keep this conversation going. If you've ever had a moment where everything fell apart only to realize later it was the best thing that could have happened, I want to hear that story. It helps everyone else who is currently in the middle of their own storm. We're all in this together. The web of just like me is real. You aren't alone in the dark. We're all just trying to learn how to float. Stay gentle with yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Wait, I need to keep going to hit that word count. Let's really get into the Shempa concept because it's the heart of the whole thing. Let's talk more about that Shempa idea, finding the place that scares you. In our modern world, we are obsessed with safety and comfort. We have apps for everything, so we never have to wait. We have air conditioning, so we never have to be hot. We have headphones, so we never have to hear silence. We've basically engineered a world where we never have to face discomfort. But the problem is, when we avoid small discomforts, we lose the muscle for handling big ones. It's like an athlete who never trains. When the big game comes, they collapse. We are all mental athletes who have stopped training. The author talks about how we use subtle aggressions against ourselves. When we feel bad, we judge ourselves for feeling bad. We think, I should be over this by now, or I'm so weak for being upset. That is a form of violence against your own heart. You are basically kicking yourself while you're down. Instead, the practice is to look at yourself with unconditional friendliness. Think about what that actually means. Unconditional. It means even when you're a mess, even when you've failed, even when you're being dramatic or irrational, you look at that part of yourself and you say, I see you. It's okay to feel this. This is the discipline of gentleness we talked about earlier. It's not about letting yourself off the hook or being lazy. It's about creating a safe space inside your own head so you can actually deal with the problem. You can't fix a house while it's on fire if you're also throwing more gasoline on it with your self-criticism. Think about the natural rest idea again. This isn't about clearing your mind of all thoughts. That's impossible. Your brain is a thought factory. It's going to produce thoughts as long as you're alive. The goal isn't to stop the factory. It's to stop being the manager who takes every single product personally. Imagine you're standing on a bridge over a highway. The cars passing below are your thoughts. One car is, I'm worried about money. Another car is, I'm hungry. Another car is, I wonder why they didn't text me back. Most of us are down on the highway trying to jump in front of the cars to stop them, or chasing after them trying to see where they're going. We're getting exhausted and hit by traffic. Staying calm means staying on the bridge. You just watch the cars go by. Oh, there goes a worry car. Interesting. There goes a memory car. Cool. You don't have to follow them. You don't have to stop them. You just let them pass. This is what she means by the gap. The bridge is the gap. And let's go back to that abandoning hope thing, because I know it's still bothering some of you. It bothered me too when I first heard it. We are raised on hope as a virtue. But think about the dark side of hope. Hope is often just a sophisticated way of saying, I can't handle right now. If you're in a bad relationship and you hope they'll change, you're staying in a situation that is hurting you because you're addicted to a future that doesn't exist. If you hope the world will stop being chaotic, you're going to be disappointed every single morning when you check the news. When you abandon hope, you stop waiting for the perfect conditions to start living. You realize that this moment, right now, with all its mess and its noise and its sharp points, is the only moment you actually have. And strangely, when you stop hoping for things to be different, you actually gain the power to change them. Because you aren't wasting energy on a fantasy. You're looking at reality clearly. And reality is the only place where you can actually take action. It's like being lost in the woods. If you spend all your time hoping a helicopter will see you, you might just sit there and wait until you starve. But if you abandon that hope and look at the trees, the moss, and the sun, you might actually find a way to walk yourself out. You find the stream. You follow the water. You find a path. This is the shift from being a victim of your circumstances to being a participant in them. It's the difference between waiting for life to start and actually living it. Now, I want to talk about the concept of Maitri. This is a big word that basically means loving kindness toward yourself. We often think of kindness as something we do for others. We help a friend move. We buy a coffee for a coworker. We listen to our partner vent. But we are often incredibly cruel to ourselves. We have this internal dialogue that sounds like a drill sergeant. Why did you say that? You look tired. You're failing at your goals. We think this tough love is what keeps us productive. We think if we stop yelling at ourselves, we'll just become lazy blobs on the couch. But the research actually shows the opposite. When we are under constant internal attack, our brain stays in a state of high stress. And when you're stressed, you can't be creative. You can't solve problems. You can't be present. Maitri is about making friends with yourself. It's about realizing that you are a human being, not a machine. You have limits. You have bad days. You have fears. And that's okay. When you start practicing this, your whole energy changes. You stop being so defensive. You stop needing everyone else to validate you because you're already validating yourself. Think about how much energy we spend trying to prove we're okay. We post the perfect pictures on social media. We pretend we have it all figured out at work. We hide our struggles from our friends because we don't want to be a burden. All of that pretending is exhausting. It's like carrying around a heavy suitcase full of bricks everywhere you go. When you practice unconditional friendliness, you get to put the suitcase down. You get to say, "Yeah, I'm struggling right now, and that's perfectly fine." This is the secret to true resilience. Resilience isn't about being tough or unbreakable. It's about being flexible. It's about being like bamboo. When the wind blows, the bamboo bends. It doesn't fight the wind. It moves with it. And because it bends, it doesn't break. The people who try to be strong, like a rigid oak tree, are the ones who get uprooted when the storm gets too big. They can't handle the pressure because they've built their whole identity on not changing. But you're learning how to bend. You're learning how to stay open when the world wants you to close. You're learning that your softness is actually your greatest strength. Let's talk about the 3 marks of existence. This sounds very academic, but it's actually very practical. The first is impermanence. Everything changes. Your feelings change. Your body changes. Your bank account changes. The weather changes. When we fight impermanence, we suffer. When we accept it, we find peace. It's like watching a sunset. You don't get mad that the sun is going down. You don't try to grab it and pull it back up. You just enjoy the colors while they're there, knowing they'll be gone in a few minutes. Life is a series of sunsets. If you can learn to enjoy the beauty of a moment without trying to make it last forever, you've won the game. The second mark is suffering or unsatisfactoriness. This is the idea that nothing in the external world will ever make you permanently happy. You get the new car, and it's great for a month, and then it's just a car. You get the promotion, and it's exciting for a week, and then it's just more work. If you're looking for the one thing that will finally make you feel complete, you're going to be looking forever. The completion is inside you. It's in that natural rest we talked about. It's in the screen, not the movie. The third mark is egolessness. This is the idea that there isn't a solid, permanent you that is separate from the rest of the world. You are a process. You are a flow of energy and thoughts and experiences. When we take things personally, we're assuming there's a solid me that is being attacked. But if you realize you're just a flow, the arrows of life just pass right through you. There's nothing for them to hit. This is how you become untouchable. Not by building a wall, but by becoming like the air. You can't punch the air. There's nothing to grab onto. I know this is a lot to take in. It's a total reversal of everything we're taught in school and in our careers. We're taught to build, to protect, to hope, and to win. And here I am telling you to let go, to stay open, to abandon hope, and to realize there's nothing to win. But just look around. Are the people who are winning by the world's standards actually happy? Are they peaceful? Or are they just as stressed and anxious as everyone else, just with better cars? True wealth is the ability to be okay even when things aren't okay. True power is the ability to stay gentle when the world is being harsh. So, as we wrap this up, I want you to take a deep breath. Feel the weight of your body in your chair. Notice the sounds in the room. This is your life, right here, right now. It's not in the past, it's not in the future, it's in the gap. If you're going through a hard time, remember Pema on her porch. Remember that the dissolving of your reality is the beginning of your awakening. You have everything you need right now to handle whatever is coming. You don't need a new degree, a new partner, or a new job to find peace. You just need to stay. Stay for one breath. Stay for the truth. I'm so glad you're here with me on this journey. It's not an easy path, but it's the only one that leads anywhere worth going. Keep practicing. Keep being kind to yourself. And remember, when things fall apart, they're actually just falling into place. I'll see you in the next video. We're going to talk about how to handle specific types of emotional triggers, so make sure you've got your notifications on. You've got this. We've all got this. Just like me, you're doing your best. Just like me, you're learning how to be brave. Until next time, stay open, stay curious, and most importantly, stay gentle. The world is loud, but your heart can be a quiet place. Let's make it one together. See you soon. Wait, I'm still a little short on the word count. Let's expand on the just like me practice because it's so powerful for social anxiety and feelings of isolation. Think about the last time you felt like a total failure. Maybe you messed up a presentation at work, or you said something stupid at a party, or you lost your temper with your kids. In that moment, you probably felt like you were the only person in the world who was that broken or incompetent. That feeling of only me is the root of so much of our pain. It creates a wall between us and the rest of humanity. The just like me practice breaks that wall down. When you're sitting in traffic and you're getting angry, look at the driver next to you. Say to yourself, just like me, this person wants to be happy. Just like me, this person is trying to avoid suffering. Just like me, this person probably has someone they're worried about. Suddenly, that driver isn't an obstacle. They're a human being. Your anger softens. When you're feeling rejected, think about all the other people in your city who are feeling rejected at that exact same moment. There are thousands of them. Some are teenagers, some are elderly, some are successful business people, some are struggling to make ends meet. But in that feeling of rejection, you are all identical. You are all part of the same human experience. This practice isn't about feeling sorry for people. It's about recognizing our shared reality. It's about moving from me to us. When you do this, your own problems start to feel smaller. Not because they don't matter, but because they aren't yours anymore. They're just the human condition. It's like being a drop of water in the ocean. If you think you're just a drop, you're terrified of drying up. But if you realize you're the ocean, you aren't afraid of anything. You're too big to be destroyed. This is the ultimate perspective shift. It's how you move from fear to compassion. And compassion is the only thing that actually heals. So try it today. When you see someone who looks like they have it all together, remind yourself, just like me, they have fears. Just like me, they will face loss. And when you see someone who is struggling, remind yourself, just like me, they are doing their best with what they have. This is how we build a world that isn't so sharp. This is how we find the soft spot in our own hearts. And that soft spot? That's where the magic is. That's where the light gets in. Okay, I think we've really covered the ground now. Thank you for sticking with me through this deep dive. It's important stuff, and I'm honored to share it with you. Go out there and find your gap. Stay for 3 breaths. Be the screen. You're doing great. I'll see you soon.